Hello and welcome to the sewing studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make the quilt behind me using a jelly roll. The quilt behind me was made with sweet pea fabric by Robin Pickens. The blocks I'm going to show you today have been made using Tulip Tango. We also do another Robin Pickens range which is called Carolina Lilies, and all of these are lovely bright coloured fabrics and they would work perfectly for this quilt. So the first thing we're going to do is open our jelly roll, which is always the best bit. This is my favourite part. And we're going to open the jelly roll and we are going to take out the strips, and the first thing we're going to do is cut the selvages off our strips. Very scantily cut the selvages off. So let's take one here. I'll show you what I mean by that. And you can do this with a pair of scissors. You haven't got to do it with your rotary cutter. So I literally just snip off the selvages from the ends. And I do that with all of the strips. And then I take the strip and I cut this into 4. And the reason I do this, rather than sewing the strips together and then cutting them, is I get a greater assortment of colours mixed up. I would have lots of blocks the same if I sewed them together first and then cut them. But if that's what you want to do, you can do that. So I just cut them into 4 until I've got a whole pile of strips. And as I say, it's a great way to jumble up all of your colours. So I'm just going to move this one out the way for a moment. And we're going to take 4 strips. No, we're not. We're going to take 5 strips and we're going to join them all together. So I'm just going over to the sewing machine to do that. So I'm just going to sew my strips together and I'm using a 1/4 inch seam. And now I'm just going over to the iron and I'm going to press these. And with these, I press all of the seams going one way. Because there isn't any matching or lining up of the seams, it doesn't matter which way we press them. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to actually measure your block, and hopefully it's going to be 10.5 inches, which it is. And the reason I say measure it is because some 1/4 inch feet on your machine vary very slightly. So sometimes you've got a scant 1/4 and other times you've got a slightly bigger 1/4. So measure your block and then you're going to square it up. So I'm just going to square that up so that my block measures 10.5 inches. And then you're going to lay your blocks out. When you've done that with all of your blocks, and you can make this as big as you want or as small as you want, but I've done 5 by 5, so you're going to need 25 of these pieces. So you lay them out with your strips going horizontally, and then the next one is going to go vertically and then horizontally. And then when you start your next row, you're going to go the opposite. So if that's going horizontally, you're then going to come down vertically. horizontally and vertically. And you're going to lay that out until you're happy with how your blocks look. And then you're going to join them all together. So as I say, this one is 5 by 5 and it's that easy. You're just joining strips. So we're now going to go over to the quilt behind me and we're just going to talk about how it's been put together and the quilting. So before we go over to the quilt behind me, if you like what we do, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, where you can see lots of pictures of our customers' makes. You can meet the team, we'll answer any questions that you might have, and we'll also give you lots of hints and tips. So you can see how these blocks have gone together. Like I said earlier, we've got them going horizontally and then vertically, and then going the other way here, vertically, then horizontally, and so on. This quilt measures approximately 66 inches square. I've put a 3-inch border here in purple and a 5.5-inch border here in pink, and I've used the Moda Grunge fabrics because I think they go really nice with this sweet pea fabric. You'll also see that I've put little fillets in my joins on my borders, and we have got a tutorial on YouTube on how to do this. So if you want to know how I've done that, don't forget to check out that video. The quilting I've done, I've just used a variegated thread and I've done a really wavy line around all of the blocks. And I haven't done lots of quilting, just literally around all the blocks, because I think it's quite a busy quilt with a lot going on. And then I've just echoed that down around the borders, and then I've popped a purple binding to match this border. And I'm now just going to turn it around and show you what I've done on the back. So you can see that this is a real patchwork quilt on the back. So I've used up the odd bits of jelly roll strips that I had, and I didn't want to go to the expense of buying backing for it. So I have used what was left of the purple. I went through my stash and I picked out some other purples. This is a pale pinky colour, and I just put them all together to make a back for the quilt. And I think that's almost as interesting as the front, and I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. So as always, make it your own. Have a go at perhaps doing a piece back as well, and I look forward to seeing you here in the sewing studio the next time.